here I'm going to talk with you about a book that I read. It's called Wintering: The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times. The author is Katherine May. And I picked this book up because I thought it just sounded perfect to me, because not only was it winter, still winter, but also the pandemic, and it just seemed, even more wintry than a typical winter because of our isolation. And the book was really interesting. It talked about, literal winter and what people do to prepare themselves for winter, especially, people living in more Scandinavian countries or areas where they're really experiencing a deep, heavy winter more than, others who might live in more southern climates. But also it talked about personal winters, not a weather season, but our own personal season of winter, where we feel cut off from the world, sidelined, outcast. It could be the result of an illness. Maybe we lost a job, lost a loved one, we're grieving, a breakup, a relationship breakup, a failure of some type, being in transition. Maybe if you're a woman, you're going through a life cycle and you are grieving a movement into menopause, or just dealing with that change. So our own personal winter, it could be something that creeps up on us, or it could be some tragic happening, or something that kind of just hits you out of the blue. It's painful, it can feel lonely, involuntary, and inevitable. Our life is not one long summer. Things happen. And so she talks about these two types of winters, and preparing for the seasonal winter, and looking at how animals nest and get their house ready so that they can really rest, and using winter as a time for rest. But then also these times of winter in our lives when we experience things that make us feel alone. And she talks about that we really should tell the tales of our winter, that it's our responsibility to share the wisdom of what we've learned from living through our winter. And it is because others can benefit, and it's the responsibility of others to listen to another person's winter tale. Because you might find yourself in the same position someday, and maybe you've learned something by listening to the other person's experience. And even if you have to go through the same thing, maybe it won't shock you that it's happening, because you've heard of it happening to someone else. It's a person's winter shouldn't be a humiliation or a failure that needs to be hidden away from the world and not talked about. It's not some embarrassing thing that's never happened to anyone else. I don't want to guarantee, but I can pretty much say that if you've experienced it, someone else has experienced it too. And, in our society, we tend to keep these things hidden like they are some shameful happening, when you know that other people have experienced it too. And it's making a secret out of something that's very ordinary. And it only seems shameful because we don't share our stories. I can say, my own personal winter, I experienced years of infertility and with multiple miscarriages, and just that loss and that grief is something that I'll always hold in me. And, my closest family members and my closest friends knew that that was something I was going through, but it wasn't something that I shared with everyone. at the time. And why didn't I? I think it's something that women, couples feel like it's private or shameful in some way. And when you don't talk about it, you're not telling other women and potential mothers and parents that, hey, miscarriages happen, and I don't want you to be blown out of the water when it happens to you, because it's very common, but it's not talked about. And the more I talk about that winter, I feel better about it, and I hope that I'm helping other parents learn that this is not some sort of embarrassing, shameful thing that shouldn't be discussed, and that they're not alone. Our winters tend to bring out some insightful moments, and we really can learn from them. It's asking something from us by sharing our winters and by listening to others' winters. It's an exchange of gifts. It breaks the habit of looking down on someone else in misfortune. And when we keep these things hidden and secret, we don't let other people know about our suffering. And it made me think of Riley in the movie Inside Out, the Disney Pixar movie Inside Out, with all the emotions, and you see the emotions as different characters. And Joy tries to shove sadness away and draws a circle on the floor, and it's like, sadness, this isn't your circle, you just stay in there. Quit trying to butt in on things. No one wants you around. And I love that because it's so true, isn't it? We try and shove sadness to the side, and we can only should ever be happy and joyful, or at least only ever show happy, joyful. But at the end of the movie, you see that by expressing sadness, Riley calls supportive people to her. By letting her sadness be known, her parents know that something is wrong. Friends know that something is wrong. And its sadness should be expressed. And the more we express it and encourage other people to express it, the more natural and comfortable it will become, and not something to just be shoved down into a corner, never to be seen or discussed. If we don't express our sadness, we can't reach out and let people know, and we can't reach out to others when we see their sadness and help them. It's like they're forced to retreat and hide and blame. We weren't ever meant to judge people based on their usefulness. So think about, Katherine May, the author, has an excellent point of, we have pets. How many people around the world keep pets? And they're not, providing a use in our household, like they're earning income and really bringing something in. They are there as a companion. We keep pets just for the pleasure of taking care of them. So we were never meant to judge people based on their usefulness. Look at babies and children. We adore them. We take care of them. We're not like, what are you bringing to the table right now? We as human beings, humanity, flourishes on caring and doling out love. When we see crises happening, whether it's let's say it's a hurricane, look how people band together and bring resources in to help. We're not looking down on the people whose house got washed away like, oh, too bad for you. Like, what can we do? What can we bring you? What services do you need? The most helpless members of our family and community are what stick us together, and winters become our social glue. That's from Katherine May. Those are not my words, but I love that. Winters are our social glue. It's what brings us together more than happy times. Times of difficulty, you really see what we're made of, and it brings people together. And humans can recover from their winters, and they come out the other side with more wisdom and more compassion. So winters are going to happen. And as a friend, as a person on the outside of another person's winter, sometimes we just need a person to acknowledge, yeah, this totally sucks. And sometimes things break, and we need a friend to kind of wince with us and sit in it with us and not give us a, gee shucks, just hang in there, baby, it's gonna be okay. You need someone who's like, oh my gosh, this is bad, but I'm here for you. Allow us to be weak for a while. It's okay. Give yourself that grace to take a break and be kind to yourselves, and think of your personal winter as a seasonal winter, and take some time, slow down, build yourself a nest, and that season will pass. So, Wintering by Katherine May. Very interesting book. I have some more things to say about it. Look for it. Read it if you're interested in learning some more. And share your winter tales with other people and listen to their winter tales. And I hope you have a wonderful day.